Chairman Hughes,
Here.
Commissioner Larry,
Here.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Here.
Commissioner Nash,
Excused.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Excused.
Commissioner Snyder,
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Here.
Commissioner Copyright.
Here. On to the approval of the minutes from September 3rd, 2019.
So moved.
Support.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Okay. Public comment on an agenda item. Okay.
James Kelly, District Director for Michigan State University Extension. And I'd like to thank you for your consideration of the MSU Memorandum of Agreement today for our annual agreement. I wanted to highlight just a couple of things as I was preparing earlier today and this week, a quarterly report which I will forward to you in the next week or so. Currently over 2,300 Muskegon County youth have participated in 4-H activities in Muskegon County. Did you know that compared to their peers, youth enrolled in 4-H are 2 times as likely to go to college, 2 times as likely to pursue careers in science, and 4 times as likely to give back to their communities. In addition to that, just in the last 3 months, many residents of Muskegon County took advantage of a wide variety of programming offered by MSU Extension as a result of your financial support. Residents participated in Beginning Farmer webinar series, product center counseling, product safety alliance training for Latino growers, a crop consultant luncheon, which provided a chance for MSU specialists to meet with crop consultants, chemical company representatives, and industry members serving the fruit and vegetable industry. There was a Bine and Dine webinar series for hop farmers, which had Muskegon County residents participating. There was a training called Importance of Outdoor Play for Early Childhood Professionals. We held a workshop called Cultivate Michigan for food service directors involved in farm to institution programs, state agency partners, food distributors, and elected officials. We held Introduction to Lakes online. We held another webinar called Protecting Lakes, a stewardship workshop for lakefront property owners, local government officials, Michigan State government employees, and tribal government staff. We had Muskegon County residents participate in money management series, home buyer education, workshops such as Your Money, Your Goals, preparing for the 2020 census webinar, wind energy planning and zoning, diabetes prevention, relax alternatives to anger, stress less with mindfulness for residents of the Samaritan Senior Living Site, insect and disease identification services, ServSafe manager training, and ServSafe training, and the list goes on. That doesn't even include community nutrition instructor programming. So again, I want to thank you for your support and for an organization in MSU Extension that relies on your funding, and we're happy to be helping to make Muskegon County all that it can be. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Is there any other public comment on an agenda item? Yes.
My name is Jim Riley. I live in Norton Shores. County Commissioners, County Sheriff, County Prosecutor. Today you will support the acceptance of grants to fund 2 important programs that will help prisoners re-enter society and help victims of criminals recover from their trauma.
I think you're on the wrong agenda.
This is Human Services Committee.
Oh, sorry.
That's probably-
Never mind, but that was a good practice for me. I'll be back.
Any other public comment on an agenda item? Okay, on to the items for consideration. First up is HS 19/10-26, Administration of Authorized VFW.
Support.
Okay. Any discussion on item 26?
Yeah, I'd like Mike to explain that a little bit to me, would you please?
Good afternoon, Mike Fowl, Muskegon County Veterans Affairs. Post 446 has raised the funds to put up a monument there. Their membership is dwindling down and they're preparing to close at some point. They were the second chartered VFW in the state of Michigan, and they raised the money to go ahead and have a monument put in there for them to be. And it won't take up any new concrete or won't take up any land that's already not concreted in the park. The Parks Committee has, correction, has via email accepted the idea of putting that there. We talked with Public Works, we talked with Bernadette over at the city, and there's going to be no issues as far as maintenance goes, what have you. The Veterans Advisory Committee approved or recommend to you to allow that to happen. One of the points of contention was that if we allow one VFW to put their monument on that property, do we have enough space to allow the others? And unanimously, one vote not. Otherwise, unanimously, the Veterans Advisory Committee approved the idea because we have 2 miles of land, essentially, one mile one way, 1 mile the other. If we can't fit 13 monuments down there in the next 20 years, then that they put in there, then that they pay for, that's what the concern was. So there's no issues with that as far as space goes. I have talked with Public Works. Matt Farah, he and I will meet together to develop some kind of a plan. As per the county administrator, we'll develop some kind of a plan for the additional 13 or 14 if they opt to do so over the years, so it's kind of a uniform look. But the current model that they wish to have will go on an existing piece of concrete that's already there. It won't have any negative effect or positive effect to that property.
And I wondered, because I know we're real picky about what, goes out there, and we kind of limit things, and this seems like an unusual request. Sometimes that VFW will go into, partnership with another one, and this one's just completely going out of business or out of service, I take it.
They're getting close, yeah. Their membership is dying off.
And there are pictures in your packet of how
I saw
it's gonna
that.
go. Yeah.
I did see that. I just get a little concerned about it being a post, not a person,
Sure.
It's really a veterans memorial.
It is, and they are memorializing the post.
I guess that's,
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other further discussion or questions? No, we're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Okay, on to HS 19/10-27. Authorize the Muskegon County Department of Veterans to apply for
Support.
a grant. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Okay, on to HS 19/10-28, under Public Health, authorize Public Health to accept the agreement for extension services.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Yes.
I'd just like to say, with MSU this year especially, you've sent out some really great information packets to us, some really great flyers that we could share with our residents. I really appreciate that, because the services are really wonderful, and being able to get them out to our people really make a lot of difference. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
On to HS 19/11-29, Public Health, authorize Public Health to accept a $15,000 grant from the Community Foundation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? And this would be for 2 spot vision screeners to be used in the schools, I believe. Okay, everybody, all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Is there any old business?
I have some old business, sort of. Since Kathy Moore is here, you don't have to get up, Kathy, but I'd just like to say, I've seen your billboards around about locking up your marijuana, and they're very well done, and I think it's just an excellent idea, a really good use of some dollars. So I just wanted to, I didn't realize until, I saw this, that it was mandated we do stuff like that, but they're very effective. I was really impressed, so thank you.
Everywhere. Okay, any other new business? Any other old business onto new business?
Kathy Moore, Public Health Director. County Administrator Mark Eisenbarth asked me to update you guys on the EEE, Eastern Equine Encephalitis status for Muskegon County. Specifically, 3 questions. What would trigger a recommendation to spray for mosquitoes in Muskegon County? The trigger by Michigan Department of Health and Human Services would be a positive case in an animal or a human in Muskegon County. Right now, they have scheduled sprays in only part areas of some counties, and it's based on where that animal was located. The rain has delayed quite a bit of the spraying, but again, it's only partial, and our trigger is a positive case, and we do not have a positive case at this time. The other question is how public health would inform the public and commissioners if we did have a positive case. We would, of course, send you guys an email first. We would issue a press release. We would update our website. And I actually, Chairwoman Hughes, I actually took a note about flyers to share. So I think we'll also publish flyers and send them out to share with constituents as well.
Thank you.
The third question was, what are the current precautions that we are taking in the event that we do get a positive case? We have worked diligently with the superintendents of schools. It's been sort of touch and go whether we wanted to recommend scheduling outdoor events like 2 hours early. We don't have a positive case. Homecoming is around the corner for some people, and so we're just keeping our fingers crossed. But they have the letter already drafted to the parents and everything. We also have our frequently asked questions drafted, and a lot of that came from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. It is updated on our website. And, you know, there's always that balance because you don't want to cause too much of a scare before you have to. And so the real advice is to take the same precautionary measures that you would for West Nile virus and any mosquito bites. We should not, we shouldn't try to get bit by mosquitoes regardless of EEE, West Nile virus, or anything else. The other areas, those campground areas, that would be of concern, but I know some of the campgrounds are getting ready to close. And then those employers who have workers that are scheduled to work in heavy woods and locations like that, that would be another issue and concern. So we've touched base with the Chamber of Commerce, even though they don't have the listing of all employees in Muskegon County. But we've been in contact with our community partners and stakeholders, and they are really on top of it. They're working with us, and then the final recommendation would come from public health, but that is triggered by a positive case.
Thank you.
I have one more update to share, and this was not requested, but if I may, and this is regarding senior millage and the snow removal. The senior resources received only one response to the request to provide snow removal services under the Muskegon County senior millage. The deadline for proposal submission was 3:00 p.m. on last Friday, September 27th. Livingwood Church of Muskegon proposed to coordinate the provision of both snow removal and lawn care services to seniors in Muskegon County who are eligible for the program services. The fiscal year 20 funds requested included startup costs and minimum equipment purchases to initiate the program. I spoke with Pastor Tim Cross today as we were reviewing the proposal. Again, it's only one proposal that we have. They have really expressed a willingness to work with us and to do what's ever necessary to get this initiated. So we are making progress.
Yes. Oh, you're the chair.
Yes.
Yesterday, I had a contact with a gentleman who has snow removal and all. He called, but he had to get the paper. She asked him if he had insurance and all of that. But you could use two or more contractors, I would think, for.
We could. The senior millage dollars have to be granted to a nonprofit organization. We did respond to that caller, and we connected him with Senior Resources for purchase of services, and they are qualifying him right now. So he will be ready to respond under different funding, the senior millage funding, which has a lot of opportunity because he would have to just show up and help plow the snow for workers who are trying to get the seniors to appointments. what was shared with us today is that, and this is senior resources funding, not the millage funding, but they have workers who volunteer to show up to take seniors to a scheduled appointment like a dialysis treatment, but the driveway is not plowed, they can't get up in the driveway, and they can't get the wheelchair down to them. And so that's missed opportunity. And so we have taken his name, and they are qualifying him right now to provide the purchase of service agreement.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good solution.
Thanks.
Creative thinking there.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? General public comment? I just wanted to make a note that we have asked all members of the audience not to wear hats, please. So if anybody's still wearing a hat, please remove it. Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
Oh, take a vote. Okay. All in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
With that, I will call the Human Services Committee of Muskegon County to order.
You want to try courts of
Public Safety.
Sorry. I don't want to be critical.
Courts and Public Safety, thank you very much, Ron Days. Courts and Public Safety Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Foster?
Here.
Commissioner Hubby Wright?
Here.
Chairman Hughes?
Here.
Commissioner Larry?
Here.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Here.
Commissioner Nash?
Excused.
Commissioner Skolnick?
Excused.
Commissioner Wilkins?
Here.
Commissioner Snyder?
Here. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of September 3.
So moved. Second?
Corrections or additions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. The motion passes. Next item is public comment on an agenda item. I have two requests.
You're up.
State your name and address, please.
My name is Jim Riley. I live in North Shores. There's some vindication when the chairman mistakes the name of the committee also, so I'm not alone. County Commissioners, County Sheriff, County Prosecutor, today you will support the acceptance of grants to fund two important programs that will help prisoners re-enter society and help victims of criminals recover from their trauma. These are scarce funds, and it's incumbent upon all of you to recognize your responsibility to enact and enforce laws that will not grow the number of lawbreakers nor increase the number of victims of those criminals. One sure way to accomplish both goals is to cooperate with our federal law enforcement agencies. Every person that I've spoken with believes that all Muskegon County departments must fully cooperate with all federal agencies, especially those agencies involved with apprehending those who've entered our country illegally. Only a fool would deny that human traffickers, opiate and heroin smugglers, potential terrorists, violent recidivist criminals have been sneaking across their borders. They've been doing it for decades, occasionally protected, sadly, by ill-advised politicians who misread the voters of their districts. We do not wish to welcome all people to Muskegon. We want to welcome those who abide by our laws, those who respect the people of Muskegon County and the United States. Please keep in mind that reducing the need for these services is your ultimate goal. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yes, as a bit of a follow-up to Jim, Larry Hard, Ravenna Township. I recently ran across a list of the root causes of the fall of the Roman Empire, and there are some pertinent things in this list. Number one was open borders, uncontrolled immigration of barbarian hordes, and dilution of the culture. The second one was corrupt politicians. The third one, loss of a common language. Number four is a welfare state. Number five is violent entertainment, i.e. Christians in the arena, gladiators and such. The next one's decline of morality, sexual perversion included. Decline of the fertility rate, rise in pedophilia, unchecked debauchery, class warfare, unbearable taxation, outsourcing of jobs to foreign workers and countries, trade deficits, exploding debt, money devaluation, military cuts, and terrorist attacks. Rome was not defeated by a superior military. They were defeated by hordes of barbarians that didn't share their values and overwhelmed the country. And that's what open borders will do. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would request if they're going to speak to an agenda item, they speak to the agenda item.
There was something in there that would apply to the agenda item, so I did cover that. Thank you.
Well, I didn't see anything in the agenda that was covered by your discussion.
I'll get a list to you so you can evaluate it.
Okay.
Anyone else have a public comment on an agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move on to items for consideration. The first being CPS 19/10-48 for emergency services to approve reimbursement up to 35.6.
Support.
Support.
Questions or comments?
I'm wondering if I could get an explanation of this, please.
Really?
Rich.
Rich Warner, Emergency Services Director. This is the, what they call EMPG funding. This is what covers 35.69% of my salary. So every dollar we spend, we get 35.69 cents back.
So when it says it's a reimbursement, it's future reimbursement, it's not something back due you.
You pay me, we send it in for reimbursement, they pay us back.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you very much. No other questions? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next is CPS 19/10-49 from the prosecutor's office.
So moved.
Support.
Questions or comments?
I have one question on this.
Shirley?
Is there any effect on the general fund for this? There's not, is there?
DJ Hilson, Ski County Prosecutor, Commissioner Hughes, no.
I didn't think there was, but I just wanted to
It's,
make sure.
100% grant funded.
That's great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Nice job on that. That's something we can really use.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. Next is CPS 19/10-50 from the Sheriff's Office to approve the Sheriff's Office to accept an independent contractor.
Sec.
Questions or comments?
Is there any, no, thank you.
Seeing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. CPS, next is a CPS 19/10-51, again from the Sheriff's Office to approve the Sheriff's Office to utilize a portion of the remaining jail.
Second.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. I'll turn this over and hope that I get the right page. Next item is CPS 19/10-52 from the Sheriff's Office to approve the Sheriff's Office to accept the fiscal year.
So moved.
Support.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. Is there any old business?
Yes, I have an item of old business. With no formal agreement with ICE, the county has no formal agreement with ICE, I'd like to have a motion that will adopt the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996, Section 287G of the Muskegon County Courts and Public Safety Committee meeting. This is an ICE program. I will hand this out
How is that whole business?
for discussion, please.
This was brought up before? Was this, I don't remember this being discussed before.
I brought it up in full board. It wasn't supported in full board, so I'm bringing it back to the committee.
Okay.
So is this a motion on your part?
Yes, this is a motion to adopt basically, it's the 287G of the ICE program. It's a partnership of law enforcement and ICE agents.
There should be no discussion without a second.
Motion fails for lack of a second. Any other old business? Any other old business? Any new business? Any new business? Next item on the agenda is number 8, which is public comment. Please identify yourself.
How you doing? My name is Toby Barnes, the Dalton Township Supervisor. We have a couple of residents that are calling us and they're getting pulled over on golf carts, and it's a $200 misdemeanor. In passing, I talked with the chair about this, what we could do in Muskegon County that would make it a little more uniform for all of our residents. If you cross Dawson Road, you're now into Cedar Creek, depending on how far south or north you are. And the rules are different there. We don't have a golf cart friendly ordinance in Dalton Township, neither does Cedar Creek, Blue Lake. I know the Sullivan Township does. Eggleston, City of North Muskegon just extended their golf cart ordinance for a year as a trial portion, and I think the Village of Lakewood Club has. But once you cross that jurisdictional boundary, if you are pulled over by, let's say, for example, a conservation officer who may be newly assigned to this district, you're getting a $200 citation, or misdemeanor, not a moving. So I'm wondering what we can do at the county level to make this a little more uniform. Newaygo County is a prime example. I'll just quickly say that we're looking at this. It would make it so that you can cross at a 90-degree angle any state road, say N120 or any road with an M on it. You can drive on the shoulders, on the right-hand side, extreme right-hand side of the shoulders of county roads, as long as they're maintained by the road commission. I know that there's going to be an opinion probably from our sheriff and from the road commission and from the county commissioners here, but it is putting undue stress on our law enforcement who have to know if each jurisdiction has a different golf cart friendly ordinance, if we could do something a little more uniform across the county. Their ordinance in Newaygo does prohibit them from going into the cities of, or the village of Hesperia and a couple of the cities up there in their county as well. And I think we could do something very uniform in our county and make it a lot easier on our municipalities and our law enforcement to enforce this for us. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anna Derwin, 1391 West Laketon Avenue. None of you are here by accident. Each of you has a purpose, and so do we. Sheriff Poulin, our chief law enforcement officer for the county, has a purpose and a duty to keep us all safe. We are at a tipping point in our county and in our country, and that could lead to a very dangerous road. We have laws that must be followed, and we cannot pick and choose which ones we're going to obey. The actions of this county and its leadership will put us on the road of prosperity, safety, and law-abiding citizens, or to a community of poverty, crime, and lawlessness. I encourage this board and my sheriff to seek more than their own wisdom, knowledge, and wisdom. Some scoff at the mention of God in prayer, but it's really, truly the only way. All present here today need to pray for this board, our sheriff, each other, our county, our country, all leaders, to seek God's will and not their own. It begins here, right here at the local level. And those people attending today need to realize how very important it is that you are not only here, but you stay informed, and that you seek God and His will for our country, and to pray for all of those in leadership. And I was hoping that you would adopt 287G. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
afternoon, Michael Pullen, County Sheriff. I guess I just wanted to address some of the issues that obviously that are coming up here dealing with immigration. And what I really want to do is jump back and, I want to make sure everybody understands that first and foremost, the one most important thing to me is public safety, the safety of our community, all right? People visiting, the people that live here. And I want to just kind of throw that out so everybody here understands how much work the Muskegon County Sheriff's Office has been doing towards that, all right? And how much time we've been spending on other issues that are just as important. But here in Muskegon County really don't need that much of attention, let me put it that way, okay? My first 2 years of office, our officers received and took 6% more calls than the prior administration over a 2-year period. The officers from the Sheriff's Office received and took 33,000 calls of service to the residents in Muskegon County. That's a 6% increase. With that, our aggravated assaults, felonious assaults, complaints remain the same, but the last 2 years we've had a 6.5% increase in the solvability rate of these crimes, people being arrested and convicted as a result of that. I've stressed to staff about the work that they do, the professionalism that they do, and that they're addressing these situations. Residential B&Es, we've had a 23% decrease over the last 2 years. All right, these are all the unincorporated areas that the Sheriff's Office is responsible to. Number of larcenies have decreased by 6%. Sexual assaults, our solvability rate has increased by 3%. All right, more people are being convicted and doing time as a result of this. I'm very proud of our advanced teen driving program, our youth programs that we do in the schools, and our grant programs that we have. As a result, our fatal crashes have decreased by 27% over the last 2 years here in Muskegon County. We've seen a 60% reduction in negligent homicide during this period. Our property checks to residents that are going out on vacations, there's been over 100% increase in property checks going on, and that number's around 3,000 property checks a year. So you understand through that period. As your sheriff, I will continue to communicate and work with all of our federal partners. I've met with them, we've talked, but this commission has spent a great deal of time over this past month dealing on a very important issue. This is an important issue. But this issue is less than 25 hundredths of a thousandths of a percent of the inmate population we see annually. All right? That's 4 people for every 16,000 that come through here. I can't stress the importance that everybody understands community safety is first and foremost. And as the sheriff here in Muskegon County, that's exactly what you're going to see. It's been instilled in the staff. We're handling our calls. We're doing a better service than we have in the past. I'm very proud of the work that these individuals do, both on our correction side and our law enforcement side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Nola Twining, and I live in the Village of Lakewood Club, 630 West Hickory. You know, for the life of me, I cannot understand why these county commissioners, with the exception of one, is not willing to stand up to protect our communities. I'm a single mother. I live in my own property. I have a daughter with multiple disabilities. I have a niece right now fighting for her life up at Mercy Hospital. And I'm in here because I'm so concerned. I'm like, I don't own a gun, but I'm fixing to go, get my Second Amendment right. Go get a gun, because I feel like there has to be more protection, because you guys are failing in a huge way. I can't understand. The people that were the legal immigrants or the migration farmers that came in when you guys were young, they didn't pose a threat. But we're getting people that want to burn our flags to come across. You understand that? Do you understand what is at stake? Why, in God's name? And I will use God's name because He is almighty, and He's watching, and He knows your heart's thoughts before you even think it. So don't think when you die and you cross over into judgment land that each one of you will not be held accountable for your choices, for your actions, every idle word spoken. every deed, every action. You might not have the fear of God in you yet, but when one of these people come knocking on your door, you might have some fear in you because violence is real. Just look across the whole world right now at things that are happening. Can't you see the disillusion of what is going on? And it's because most people have taken God, they've taken prayer out of their lives. I used to be a lawless person, and I got saved at the age of 33, and it was powerful. And I'm 58 right now. And I'm telling you, man, you got to serve the King of Glory. Every knee will bow. Thank you.
Sean Campbell, 360 McLaughlin. Well, in my last public comment, I talked about the rule of law. And like others here, I talked about the consequences of not having law, not having rule of law. Each person doing their own thing. I quoted the last verse in Judges. And what I mean is, you guys are not a law unto yourselves. We have federal law that applies to immigration. And I'm asking that you adopt 287G. It's very simple. And as we've seen recently from the White House, anybody saying that the sheriff cannot work with ICE is either willfully ignorant or patently disingenuous, and that includes this sheriff. Furthermore, any Republican that will not fight on the issues is worse than any sold-out, stone-cold liberal, and that includes anybody other than the one fighting. My own commissioner in District 6, I believe, Nash, he's a liberal. I oppose everything he does, but you know what? He's dependable. I can count on him. Not like some rhinos I know.
Good afternoon, Lois Flagg, I live in Logan Road in Muskegon County. I know that there is lack of support for our county sheriff to do his job, and that it's important to you folks to be a welcoming community. I assume that when the illegals come in, you will be the first ones to open your homes to these folks that are coming in looking for a place to stay. You're going to lead by example, folks. We'll give them your addresses. Thank you.
My name is Larry Hausman of Norton Shores. A few minutes ago I saw a proposal, I guess, that made just so much sense to me, but couldn't get a second on it. Now it's the second time that issue's been brought up. There's a lot of us that have no idea why this is happening. Now, we started a Facebook group, and I know some of you have it and some of you don't, but we thought we'd have a chance to get comments from the board. Well, apparently there's some kind of a agreement that you won't participate in that page. It seemed like a really good idea to us because we feel there's no transparency, and that might be a way of getting some, but not once has anybody replied to any of the questions that we've had that we put on that. It's disappointing, it really is.
Thank you.
John Anderson, 6715 Tyler Road. in Cedar Creek. My comment is, why are you handcuffing the sheriff department? They have opportunities to help out their department. They are stretched to the limit, and all they're asking is that you approve ICE or whatever help and stay and keep the illegal immigrants out of here. They have enough time to do barely their job because they are understaffed. And they are not able to do their full job because of the crime that's already here in this county with the limited amount of staff they have, and now you want to have illegals coming in here and making it rougher for them. Please have them have a chance to have some help from ICE, and they do not need more crime coming in here. Thank you.
Hello, Tammy Barnhart. I live in Muskegon and Fruitport, and I also support that resolution for ICE. And I'd like to, number one, ask a question. I know you don't want to have a discussion, but is it true that you passed a resolution not long ago that a resolution should not be brought to the board unless it has prior approval or acceptance? Is that true?
Go ahead with your comment, please.
I just want to know, is that true or not?
We don't, it's not question and answer. It's
okay. So if that, I'm going to assume that is true, because you didn't want to deny it, that seems kind of shady to me and to us and to the public. I mean, what kind of things are going on that you can't discuss here in front of everybody, that you got to go behind closed doors and make little wink, wink, reach around, handshake deals with each other and not fully discuss issues in front of us? That makes me concerned about each and every one of you that would have approved that. And I'm going to look this up to make sure, but I didn't have time today. But I approve that resolution for ICE, and I'd like to know, and I know you're not going to answer this, but I hope you have the courage after I step away so we don't have to have a discussion, for each and every one of you to tell us why you didn't want to open that for discussion. We'd like to know. Why aren't you discussing this? Why aren't you collaborating on this in front of us? That's what I'd like to know. Thank you.
Anybody have the courage to answer?
I'm still wet. I want to thank you all for what you do. You have a whole lot of meetings. The question I have that I know you can't answer. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Pat Vendel, and I live at 3826 Applewood Lane in Norton Shores. Real quickly, I've heard a couple meetings now where a motion is made and you can't get a second. And I think the last one was the big meeting, not the committee meeting. And I don't understand how all this works, but I thought it goes back to the committee to discuss it. And I understand we're at a committee meeting right now, and a motion was made, but couldn't get a second to even have a discussion. So I work on boards. We would get nothing done if we never discussed anything. And if this is the committee that should do that, I'm just very disappointed that you didn't have that opportunity to have a discussion. And I'm concerned, talking about being welcoming, if it's a commission issue where it depends on who's making the motion. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, sure. Tudor Dixon, Norton Shores. I just wanted to say I really appreciate the sheriff coming up and telling us about his record for the last 2 years, and it's very impressive, and I want our sheriff to be able to continue an impressive record, and I think that's why the people here are concerned about the optics of inviting criminal illegal aliens here, because it seems as though if we're not working with ICE, then we're giving criminal illegal aliens sanctuary in our city. And that's our concern, is that we are concerned about the criminal illegal aliens that will feel protected by this. And so that's why we think our Sheriff's Department is protected and can continue to have better results every year if we comply with ICE. So that's something I'd just like you to think about, and maybe that discussion will come up the next time. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, it's me, Melinda Reese Pino, 6233rd Street. So, Sheriff, thank you so much. At the last domestic violence sexual assault task force meeting I went to, they said you had a great turnout of officers that showed up at the last MCOS training. Thank you very much. I hope that you continue that. There's another one coming up this Friday, and I hope you have officers signed up for that. Thank you. Gary, Mr. Foster, my commissioner, I am so disappointed that you could not second a motion. You talk the talk on social media that you are against sanctuary cities, you're against welcoming counties, welcoming Michigan. I think you have a little bit of an understanding, more so probably now, of what's going on with all of this. You had no problem seconding Mrs. Wright's motion for becoming a welcoming county to open it up for discussion, is what you said. You can't even second a motion for discussion for our local law enforcement to become federally in partnership with the 287G program. I would love to see our Sheriff's Department, our local community law enforcement, to lead the way in West Michigan, becoming a leader for our state with this program. It's a highly commendable program. You guys really please research the 287G Immigration and Nationality Act of 1996. It is so incrementally, imperatively important in our day right now, what's going on across our nation. You can look at California, Colorado, and all the other states that have adopted these sanctuary counties. We're almost there. We're almost there. This is beyond incomprehensible that we could not get a second for an open discussion to become a partner with this program. Please reconsider. Read the motion and please reconsider. Thank you.
You've been up here before.
Separate issue. Thank you. The question is of obviously very, very significant interest to a room full of citizens who you are supposed to, and you've told us that you're interested in serving. There are, I'm sure, some people in the county who oppose this resolution. There are some people who want to have a welcoming community. It's an issue that is a tremendous issue, and yet, or tremendous interest, and yet you refuse to tell us why you're voting. If you wonder, sometimes I know among yourselves you might say, why do people not trust us? Why do people, just not give us the respect that we earn?
Address an issue?
Yes, I'm addressing the issue of non-response, and I'm imploring you, if you want to have a county commission that has earned the respect, that in fact you let us know why you have chosen to open an open debate on one side of an issue and not even have a conversation, an open conversation, not even get a second to support the federal government of the United States. Please answer us at some point.
Very quick comment. Larry Hart, Ravenna, Michigan. How do we get a meeting with our 4 Republican commissioners? It wouldn't be a quorum, because there'd only be 4 of you. We, the people, need to meet with the 4 of you and come to some kind of understanding. Yeah. How do we do that? And I'm open. I'm retired. I have lots of time. So anytime you guys want to meet, I will leave my phone number with you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else who hasn't already spoken? Is there any other business to come before this meeting?
Support.
All those in favor of adjourning, say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
What a job.